Guys, it's actually happening. I'm out here today to start on the siding of the bunkhouse. Now, initially when I set out and started building this thing, not last summer, but the summer before, I planned on having it done before Christmas. Well, another Christmas has passed since then, and still no siding. But it is happening now, and that's all that matters. I haven't run the little wood stove in here for a couple months now, and like a little bit of rain, water has kind of, come down the chimney pipe and a little bit of rust on top. But the only way I plan on putting a bigger cap on the chimney, because there's pretty heavy rains and really driving wind out here, and that's what kind of drives the rain into the chimney pipe. But it's really minimal, and so I'm going to put a bigger cap on it and a little wind blocker on the dominant wind side, and then that'll deal with that issue. But nothing compared to the fiasco of when I first installed it. Left the unburnt charcoal in there, so it should start up pretty good. All right, so I'm putting a 1x10 yellow cedar belly band, fascia, whatever you want to call it, down around the bottom of the cabin here. And then I'm going to be adding a 1x4 strip just to double it up to kind of match the fascia up on the roof. And that's going to give me enough thickness to then flare my shingles out over and give it a little flare. I love that flared shingle look. So along the top here, I'm using these larger U2 2.5 inch construction screws, which are great. They're pulling that they have a wider head on them, right, like a standard screw, and then they pull it in, and that's going to get covered by a 1x4. And then along the bottom here, where you're going to see the screw heads, I'm using these trim head screws, 3-inch trim heads. And if you look at this, like, see that? Like that's the difference between a lot of different screw manufacturers and U2. It's just the quality, right? The machining, that it just sticks on there. So I've got about a 3/4 inch step before the meat. Got decent pull, obviously not as much pull as a wider head screw, but it does suck it in a little bit. So I'm just doing that about every 16 inches or so. That's leaves a small head as a finishing Galvy finishing nail would if you hand hammer them in there, but it's so much faster and it's got so much more pull than a nail, which a lot of nails will come loose over time. So I much prefer the trim head screws over nails. Okay, always set your saw to a 1 degree past 45. That way your point of your miter is always going to be nice and tight. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Nice and flat. Yellow cedar's really, because I kept it tarped really well, it didn't cup or anything in the heat of the summer, last summer while it was sitting here. So it's still really nice and flat, which is great for getting these miters together. And just using some premium construction adhesive to glue my miters so that they don't pull apart on me. Ah, come on. Framing's a little too far out. So my framing is a little proud here. Even though I cut this miter square, the framing kind of bumps out at the bottom, so I'm just gonna have to grind this back a little bit with the saw to be able to pull that in tight. So I find with the miters, sometimes you got to use the bigger head screws. And then once that glue is set, I pull them out and I'll put a trim head in there. Or I can just switch them to put a trim heads in when it's tight and then take them out. Beauty day to be on the water. A little chilly though. So I'm just playing it smooth to make sure we got a nice joint there, and I even taper it in a little bit to the inside so that when I put the next shingle over, you get a nice tight joint on the outside. You want to always have a nice tight butt joint, and then you also want to alternate them. Oh, did I? Dang it. Good thing I decided to video that clip and show that I did it wrong. Right, so see how I alternate it, right? Butt there, butt there, butt there, butt there. Then I did that one there. So I need to flip that one around. But it was a really nice joint. Now I gotta rip it off. Derp. Like, this cabin is gonna be so flippin' sexy when it's done. Like, come on. I'm so glad I went with the little stagger pattern as opposed to just straight rows. It just suits this cabin so well. And to be able to see all this timber framing, exposed timber work, you know, with wood all around it instead of foam and strapping, it's really gonna make the timbers pop. And it's gonna be a real eye catcher, you know, as a Samurai does. Got my own steam sauna. This place is getting pretty messy here, but we're about 2/3 of the way done. So I'm just gonna keep plowing ahead and we'll do a big cleanup when we're done. But these locks, I got this 8-pack of locks that are all keyed alike at Princess Auto. Pretty beefy locks, nice thick locks. So I've had like all these different keys to, you know, for different pairs of locks, and it's clogging up my keychain here. The more stuff I have to lock up. So now I'm just putting all the same locks because they're all the same key. So I've got, you know, 2 here, 2 there, another 2 on that other lock box that's behind the trees somewhere. There we go. And that way I only have to have 1 key on my keychain to unlock all of them, which makes life a lot easier, especially as I get older and forget which keys are for what and all that nonsense. So, you know, take the time to make sure your life is as streamlined and simple as possible. That's my advice to you. Thank you so much to my monthly sponsors, Odie's Oil, U2 Fasteners, Granberg International, and Princess Auto for helping me make this dream a reality. If you guys haven't checked out their products, please feel free to follow the links in the description box below and see what they've got to offer. We just had a nice little hailstorm pass us by. So I decided to just head inside for a little minute. Rearranging my battery setup. But sure enough, another little swatch of blue sky. Hopefully it'll open up again. It was sunny like 20 minutes ago, gorgeous. And then it's just rolled in real fast. So honestly, it's way better than television out here, just watching the weather systems pass by. It's just unbelievable. So now that I'm approaching the all the light boxes and the tops of the doors and windows, I don't really need to flash the top of this door and window because it's got such a large overhang, but just so that it matches the windows on that side, which I am going to flash, I'll just flash them all, right? It's good practice to flash everything. So I'm going to cut the headers, and then I can, you know, have a spot to set my flashing on top, nail that in, and then I can start shingling up around that. So I'll still be able to cut in the side trims afterwards, and, you know, maybe I have to just use a knife or whatever to get up right where the header is, because they're going to have a little bit of a, you know, overhang. But I need to put these blocks around the light boxes here just so that when the shake comes up, it's about 1 inch thick, right? And I want to have a nice flat surface for the sconce to sit against, which is, I think, looks pretty sweet. Maybe if they were a bit smaller, but I don't think I'll hit that. I'll have the bench right here, so you kind of walk around that, so hopefully nobody will catch their head on it or anything. You know, looking backwards, I was like, oh, maybe I should have put it up here, but I didn't. So it's going where it's going. So I'm just using a couple of these U2 3-inch screws. Okay. These ones also have a motion sensor on them, so when you walk up on the porch, they just automatically turn on. That was kind of what sold me on them. Because I don't want them on all the time, draining my battery power, right? Because I'm on limited power here with the solar setup. So they'll just come on as motion occurs, which is perfect, right? It's energy saving. So that's the profile I came up with for the door header, or the headers over the windows and door. I might just adjust it like a little bit. Not very, for a progressor blade, it definitely didn't progress very fast. I think I might just try my other standard wood blades that I got. Let's pre-start my finishing screws here. Now I can set my flashing on top, get it really in there snug, nail it down, and then if I want, in order to cut the shingles or to have an easier time scribing it, I can just unscrew that and pull it out, right? With finishing nails, good luck. I love being greeted by these beautiful sun rays just coming through the trees. Just, the video just doesn't even do it justice. Ugh, it's always that last push, you know? That's what gets you. I was just kind of like, oh man, we're going so fast. Nothing in our way, just course, and then it's like, get up near the windows, now I gotta deal with the headers and the flashing, going around the beams and the roofs, and I'm just kind of like, so much harder. What can you do? That's just the nature of the beast. You just gotta push through. You know? Buddy Adam's not here to help me. All I gotta do it by myself. There's always these excuses, you know. Where does that shit come from? It's just the mind. It's all just, you're fighting yourself, Jesse. Just get on with it. Get on with it. You expect somebody else to build your dreams? It's your dream. You gotta build it. You designed it this way. Why are you complaining that it's hard? Oh. You're the one that's angry because you wanted to get it done in 2 weeks. But if you just let go of the expectation of getting it done in 2 weeks, is it that big a deal? It's just cutting wood. That's what you do all day. You know? It's like we're just setting ourselves up for disappointment. But it's us. We're doing it. Life isn't disappointing us. Life is just life. Whatever we encounter. So I am releasing the expectation that I'm going to have this done by the end of the week because it's Wednesday. And when it gets done, it gets done. And it's going to be beautiful and I'm going to be happy. Right? Right. It already looks so good. Everything is coming together. There's no need to be bummed out for any reason whatsoever. Just do it. Just push through. When all's said and done, people are going to look at this cabin and no one's going to care how long it took to build. I'm not even going to care. I'm just going to go, man, this is my cabin. It's so beautiful. Who cares how long it took? Look at the churches and the castles and cathedrals and all these things. The beauty took lifetimes to build. Nobody cares. They just go, wow. What a marvelous structure. That whole idea of getting it done fast and cheap, like that's just a consumer North American bullshit perspective in my opinion. So I'm just releasing that. Enjoy the process. I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to U2 Fasteners for sponsoring this video. U2 is a Canadian-based company from Thunder Bay, Ontario that's been operating since 2016. They sell fasteners across North America, so keep an eye out for them at your local lumber yard. Their screws are code compliant for structural strength as well as corrosion resistance, and they also sell 316 grade stainless steel fasteners. I can tell you from experience they're a dream to work with. And if any of you guys would like to try them out, feel free to send a message to U2 Fasteners on their Instagram or in the email that I've linked in the description box below. All right, let's get back to it. Well, it's not snowing and raining today, so I just got to keep pushing on here, even though it'd be nice if it was a bit warmer and there wasn't snow on everything, but quit being a whiny baby, Jess. Just get her done. Yes, I will. I got this window trim though, which looks pretty sexy, if I do say so myself. So, problem is on the apron here, I kind of profiled the ends and didn't realize that I had, that I'd kind of notched the shingles straight, and then so the profile shows this little gap there, which is not very pretty. So, dang it. As nice of an apron as it is, I'm gonna have to remake it. The good thing is, little tip for you guys, when you're trimming windows, you always start with the biggest window first. Why, you might ask? Well, it's pretty obvious. When you screw a piece up, you can cut it shorter to fit one of the smaller windows. If you start at a small window and you screw up, then you just gotta throw it out because it's not gonna fit any of the bigger windows. So I'm just gonna use this apron and, you know, cut it shorter and use it for that front window. So not too big of a waste, and I can I'm just glad like the profiles worked out. That was kind of the main thing. It's like I wanted something like a little unique other than just a straight blah apron, you know, to match the kind of cool looking header there. So I like the profile. Don't care if you do or don't. I like it. And I wanted to show you guys another trick here. So I got these big, I think they're 10-inch U2 screws, construction screws, or universal screws. And so I'm gonna put one in here to hold this header because, you know, this wood isn't completely dry. So a lot of times what happens when you do an exterior trim is you put it on, and then as the piece shrinks, you get a little gap forming right there, you know, and it's fine if you're painting it and caulking it, but I'm not, and I want it to stay samurai tight, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna drop a screw in here, and the nice thing is because it's got this smooth part of the shaft for the full thickness of that, it'll act like a clamp and really pull that down tight. And then as it shrinks, I'll sink the screw in a little deeper to create positive pressure. And then as it shrinks, it'll shrink down this way and keep that joint tight, right? I always put a little bit of angle, like I start closer to the front edge of the header and then angle it back. So that way you don't, by any chance, blow out the front or the side. So now I can flash the top and not have to worry about any gaps forming there. Oh, having a bit of a day here, guys. Got these beauty clear yellow cedar trim pieces made, and then I square cut them on both ends, and the bottom end's supposed to have a 10-degree slope on it for the sill to slope. So thankfully this window is not the last window, and there's a smaller one up top in the loft, so these pieces won't go to waste. But you know, if you guys think I make this look easy, let me just tell you, it's not easy, and I make brain fart mistakes like that all the time. And just have to keep pushing through. Ugh. So I'm going to plane up some new ones, cut them correctly, and then hopefully we can get this window trimmed out. But I was hoping to wrap up, you know, the whole thing here in this video, but it's just not going to happen, so I'm just releasing that expectation, and we'll clear it up in the next one. But for those of you who are feeling disappointed because you wanted to see it all done and finished, I get that. And as a reward for watching this video, I'm going to show you what I'm designing for my main house. Check this out.
This is it, guys. So far anyways, I haven't got all the pieces in, obviously. You know, I need a little beam going across here to support the ridge, and who knows, I might not even be able to build anything like this once I, you know, take it to a structural engineer and have them look at it. I know that I'm getting a little greedy here with this large overhanging kind of cantilevered roof. From my standpoint, I think it's doable with the joinery and as far as, you know, strength and being able to support that roof, but I don't know if it'll meet the snow load requirements or whatever calculations that the engineers have to make. So I'm hoping I can pull it off because I just love this large overhanging roof here. And there's going to be angle braces going up in these little transom areas, which will essentially create like a really large timber truss frame going around the whole perimeter of the house, which should be insanely strong, as well as a truss frame going through the middle, kind of holding everything together. So plenty of load bearing. I believe I've kind of over-engineered everything here, so it should be pretty safe, but I'm sure they'll have to add certain elements to make it pass all of their calculations and everything. So this is the front entrance, which will be on the north side of the house. So the rock bluff area and then the lake and the little bunkie, etc., will be down below on that side. So you'll enter from the back here. I've added this clear story, as you can see, which will let in a lot of natural light and hopefully minimize my need for, you know, running lighting during the day and save on power consumption, etc. Got really large overhanging eaves just for the summertime sun. It should cut down on the direct sunlight coming into the house, which, you know, heats the house up and makes it into a hot box in the summertime, as many of you know. And then in the, you know, the spring and winter or fall months, when the sun is lower, the sun should be able to come in and, you know, warm up the house a little bit. So that's why I've got the large eaves, as well as just having a nice dry space outside to walk around your house year round, especially with the super wet, soggy winters that we get, would be just amazing. All right, so with the walls in place, this is entering from the north side, coming through the entry hallway here into the living room. So this will all be exposed timber work, some nice curved beams notching over each other, kind of Japanese style. You're looking up into the clear story there, and, you know, we'll have some through tenons and joinery and wedges all visible, which is going to add just a lot of really cool visual elements. Coming into here, we got the nice stepped windows. So kitchen will be over on these two walls with an island in the middle here, and then this will be the dining room area. I think I'm probably going to have built-in kind of bench seating on these two walls, just so I can snug the table up a little closer because the footprint of this house is actually pretty modest. It's only about 1,600 square feet, which is the allowable size limit for this zoning, being off grid and everything. They don't want people building giant houses and then not being able to power them, being off grid. So I have to stick within a 1,650 square foot footprint. So I've just added a lot of outdoor covered deck space to kind of make up for, you know, square footage in that regard. And then we've got the living room area, which I'll have a stone fireplace in the corner going up here. And then if we jump across the hallway into the master area, I don't know if this is possible. It doesn't seem like it would be. Like, these trusses are going to be really strong, but we're also dealing with the really large overhanging roof there, so I might not be able to pull off the floating corner, but man, that would be awesome if I could. And I would have kind of two big doors that would either swing or slide away. So I'd have to come up with a pretty kind of clever latching mechanism for that, but it would be really nice if I could pull that off. That's kind of like my big challenge for the build here. And then this will be actually like a glass wall going into our bathroom shower here, and you know, vanity, toilet, that sort of stuff, and then closet kind of off the bathroom. And then moving down the sideway, Ngawa or covered walkway, porch, whatever you want to call it. This will be the boys' room here, with their own little entrance in from the deck. And then we've jumped through the walls here. See if we can. That's the mudroom there, going out the side entrance, as well as my son's room, and then the main bathroom area in here. So we'll have a double vanity along here, toilet area right here, and then tub shower on this wall. So anyways, I hope you guys are as excited as I am to get going on this. It's probably going to be about a year before I start cutting this frame. I'm going to be building a smaller auxiliary cabin closer to the lower cabin that I'm just finishing up. And I'll do that first so that we have a little bit more of a usable space to cook and hang out in and work from as we get to work on the large building here. So this is going to be a process, and I'm not rushing it because this is what I've been looking forward to pretty much my whole life, my whole adult life, and I want to savor every moment I can. So, yeah, shoot me a comment down below. Let me know if you're interested in coming out and helping for a week or two. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. Till then, Samurai out.